What's up, Kris Krohn here. The year is 2025. We are on the Street of Dreams, parade of homes, looking at this beautiful multi-million-dollar neighborhood. Right over here for $2.3 million, we've got this gorgeous 1,200 square foot house. Next on this street, $3.9 million. I mean, what a bargain. Don't you want to get a piece of that action? I mean, crazy. Is the sky falling? Real estate, it keeps going up. Is it just the worst of time to get in on real estate? It's not 2025 yet.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Well, the year is not 2025 yet. The polar ice caps have not finished melting, but I'll tell you what, people are wondering whether it's the worst time to buy real estate. They become so unaffordable that even the cost of model homes has gone up. In all seriousness, people are concerned. Prices have gone up so much and they're wondering, should I wait for them to come down first, or is it still safe to buy a property? Check this out from Business Insider. They said a May Zillow report found that nearly half the homes for sale in the US literally sold in under a week. And I want you to think about that. Nationwide, half of all the listings sold in under a week. All right, here's the situation. Number one, low mortgage rates. And on top of that, we've got this whole remote work from home boom that is fueling this huge buying pandemic. And number two, the frenzy has depleted inventory. It's sent home prices soaring, and it's anointed new hot places to live. Bottom line is, the landscape of this country is changing very, very dramatically when there's not enough homes. Now, this is the crazy part. There are literally people out there that are saying, well, shoot, this is like 2008. Don't you remember the big, huge housing bubble crisis? Check it out. From a mortgage billionaire, he said, despite what you may heard, we're actually not in a housing bubble. CNN is confirming this. Dave Ramsey is confirming this. Most major news outlets, we're on the same bandwagon right now, that the problem is actually something different entirely. Quote, the housing market crash of 2008 was the result of a faulty foundation the mortgage industry was built upon. The CFPB implemented significant industry reforms in the following years to prevent a similar collapse, hence we're not having one of those right now. And it goes on to say, it's still a great time to buy, and more inventory will open up this year in Q4 and Q1 of 2022. In other words, how can you actually have a bubble? In other words, how can you actually have all these home prices mean that the bubble's gonna burst when we're still missing millions of homes? You have to address all of that missing supply before you can even begin to build a bubble. Well, it turns out there are actually three persistent reasons for the big imbalance with demand and supply, meaning we got millions of people wanting homes, we do not have millions of homes for sale. It's literally at a historic level where this has never happened before.
This never happened before.
Reason number one, the Millennial Boost. Did you know right now there are over 70 million millennials in this country, and they're now of that age where they want to buy real estate? Millennials were buying homes and boosting housing demand even before the pandemic started, said Goldman Sachs' Ronnie Walker. But with home ownership rates rising around age 30, the true millennial boost is still to come. In other words, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Hang on to your hats, folks, because you ain't seen nothing yet.
Number two, limited home building. Rising land costs and the struggle to find workers will likely limit the pace of annual home building to around 1.5 million homes built in the coming years. What does that mean? Check this out. Since 2009, I've been tracking a very important number. How many homes do we actually have a demand for? Coming out of 2008, that number was 500,000, then it was 600,000, then it was 800,000. When we started finally building again, that number was over 1 million. Well, guess what? Right up until the pandemic, that number reached heights of 2.2 million. But then guess what? The pandemic left everyone wanting to work from home. So people said, I need a different kind of home if I'm going to live here and work here. So that 2.2, according to Wall Street Journal, jumped just 2 months ago to over 4 million. And I want you to think about that for just a second. If we're missing 4 million homes, and according to this article, we're only going to be building 1.5 million homes a year, then you might be thinking, well, Kris, 1.5 million, the next year 1.5 million, the next year 1.5 million. In 3 years, we're gonna catch up to the missing 4 million. Not so, because every month there is an increasing greater number of demand. It could literally take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 years before we finally build enough homes to satisfy all the homes that people are wanting out there. And you know what that means to home prices? They are not going to come down anytime soon. There ain't no bubble building. Right now, it is the opposite. They are going to keep soaring. And number 3, let's not forget foreclosures. People are really worried. It's like, hello, the moratorium is coming to an end. What's that going to do? It should kick a whole bunch of homes into foreclosure. Is that true? Check this out. Of the roughly 45 million mortgages in the US, 4.5% are currently in forbearance. That means they don't have to pay their mortgage, literally less than 5%. But the majority of those aren't likely to enter foreclosure, Goldman said, because the substantial improvement in the labor market we expect in coming months should increase households' ability to resume mortgage payments. In other words, we're not talking about 10% of all homes in the US going into default. There are actually jobs out there, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that aren't motivated to get those jobs because they've got really high unemployment benefits, but the work is out there. In fact, the experts say that we got enough jobs out there where we could literally carry a 0% unemployment. The question remains, should I buy right now? Well, listen, in 2025, I feel pretty confident that you're going to look back and say, shoot, I should have bought in 2020, should have bought in 2021, should have bought in 2022. In fact, I got a brother-in-law right now that desperately needs to upgrade his house, but guess what? The market has gone up so much, he now finds himself in a holding pattern. He's waiting, he's hoping that timing will get better, when in fact, this is the truth. Now is a great time to buy, according to this mortgage billionaire. He said, on an affordability index, understanding how rates and home prices come together, it's probably not going to get any better than it is right now. Listen, you have historic low all-time rates where you can lock in ultra cheap money. You've got the supply-demand problem, which is only going to keep jacking up the price of real estate. If you want to get in the home ownership game, now is definitely the time to do it. I will say, however, that the biggest problem people are making is they're focusing on their own home. Consumers always will. It's always my car, my house, my crap. But people that are smart with money, they're not thinking about themselves. They're thinking of investing. They're thinking about businesses. They're thinking about owning real estate. Right now is literally, I believe, the once in a decade lifetime to own the right kind of real estate. Think about it. If you were focusing on investment grade real estate in the best parts of the country, assuming for a moment that I could give you access to the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, the best of the best. You see, there's a link below where I actually show you how to get with me. I'll show you how to take some of that increased equity in your own home, or if you've been stashing in a 401k or IRA and you're like, well, Kris, I'd love to get in the game. Where do I get the money for that? Trust me, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you want to know how to get 25% ROIs or double that or even triple that, this economy, it's dishing that up. I believe that by 2025, you might look back and say, oh my gosh, this was the gap. This was the time frame to become a self-made millionaire. And the question is, are you? Well, if you're not, you should click the link below. I'll give you a free game plan. I'll show you what it looks like to partner with me. I'll take you into the best markets. We will crush it. We will buy the best real estate. We'll get the highest ROIs. I think that literally in my lifetime and in your lifetime, this is the best time to possibly be investing. So if you want to learn about that, see exactly what that looks like, click the link below. But Kris, I don't got money in a 401k or an IRA, or I rent a house. I don't own a house. I don't got no money to speak with that I could actually do any kind of real estate investing with. That's okay. I started literally with next to nothing. And if you want to know how to get in the game of real estate with literally zero cash, watch this video. I'll show you how. And coming up right here on my right, we have another lovely piece of crap. Prices are going up so high that look at this. People don't even need to clean their yards anymore. There's a kid. Let's get out of here.